in circulating uninformed information capable of doing more damages to all of us. Let us not allow the social media to hijack our sense of judgment and capture our minds negatively.
The operation is aimed at reclaiming every public space under the control of the bandits, arrest and bring to book all perpetrators of violence in the area and their collaborators. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Minister of State, Mines and Steels Development Abubakar Bawa Buhari says the suspension of mining activities in Zamfara State is temporary and the decision is taken for the interest of local and foreign investors in the state. The minister made the clarification following insinuation from some quarters that the decision is targeted at driving away investors in the state. Mie Ogidi tells us more.
Welcome to Kochiko Camp in Suleja, Niger State, with almost all the features of a rural settlement. But nature has smiled on it, so it is now on its way from primitivity to modernity, as the camp secured a space in the global mining map, courtesy of gold and platinum discovered.
And with this, the stage is set that what we need to know now is the economic viability, that is in terms of size, and that is where we are getting to now.
And very soon Nigeria, or the Nigerian flag, will be placed on the international mining map.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development led the team and went 4 feet underground to have a feel of the newly discovered resources, and thereafter put on the engines, marking the commencement of work in this Itatu rural settlement.
It's so exciting what we've seen here, and the preliminary report shows high deposit of some of the minerals we're looking at, and with the presidential order that they want to know what we have, just not the minerals, but its commercial value. I think we are getting there.
However, on the temporary suspension of mining activities in Zamfara State, the minister said it is for the interest of genuine investors in the industry.
We believe it won't last long, and our message to our investors and those who will be investors that this will not take a long time to be resolved, and we believe the security agencies will flush them out. And it will be in the interest of that community and in the interest of the investors.
Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Talking security now, the Nigerian Air Force says the Air Task Force for Operation Dira Mikia has successfully destroyed a bandit logistics base at Ajia in Birni Magaji local government area of Zamfara State. Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, disclosed this in a statement issued in Abuja. He said the ATF also neutralized dozens of the bandits at Ajia and Wanaka, and that the operation was executed sequel to human intelligence reports indicating that the bandits were using a compound in Ajia as a logistics store to support their operations. Consequently, the ATF dispatched a Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet supported by an intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance platform to attack the compound, scoring accurate strikes on the target and causing it to erupt into flames, which engulfed the structures and resulted in the neutralization of some of the bandits. Meanwhile, Zamfara State government has condoled with the people of Kaura Namoda Emirate over the recent armed bandits attack, which claimed lives of 50 members of civilian JTF in the area. Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Sanusi Garba Rikiji, led a delegation to the Emir's palace to convey state government's condolence message. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
Suspected armed bandits had on 2nd April 2019 attacked some 30 communities in Kauranamuda local government area of Zamfara State, resulting in the killing of no fewer than 50 members of the civilian JTF who tried to foil the deadly attack. More than 100 bandits were also killed during the encounter. Zamfara State government delegation led by Speaker of the State House of Assembly Sanusi Rikiji was at the Emir of Kauranamuda's palace to condole with the people of the area over the unfortunate incident. Rikiji, who described the incident as a monumental tragedy, urged royal fathers in the state to caution members of the civilian JTF and their domains against confronting the bandits, saying their work is to support the security personnel but not to lead operations. The Emir of Kaurana Namoda, Alhaji Muhammad Ahmad Asha, said the emirate has embarked on special prayers to seek for Allah's intervention over the security challenges in the state. During the visit, the delegation delivered the state government donation of some relief materials to families of the deceased. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The National Defense College remains critical in influencing government policies and programs at both grand and strategic military level. The outgoing Commandant, National Defense College, Rear Admiral Adeniyi Oshinowo, affirmed this position at an event to mark his farewell parade and pulling out ceremony. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who was at the National Defense College Abuja venue of the event, reports.
The National Defense College, NDC, the highest training institution in West Africa for senior military officers, was established in 1992. This symbolic exercise marks the pulling out for the 16th Commandant, NDC, Rear Admiral Adeniyi Oshinowo, who joined the Nigerian Navy as a member of the Naval Regular Course 1 in 1981.
I wish to join the college community to continue to explore and acknowledge the strategic influence that the dynamics of technology, demography, and environment will continue to have on the security and development of nations, and indeed the efficacy of governance in any nation.
The farewell parade also comes along with handing over of command of the NDC to Rear Admiral Maxim Kadiri. From the National Defense College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
It's now time to go to Lagos, and Ruth is standing by with more security reports. Hello, Ruth.
Hello, Ogwa. Thank you and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Army 81 Division's Operation Planning Cadre has ended in Lagos with a challenge to the middle and lower cadre participants to make the best of the knowledge acquired for national defense. Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports that Operations Planning Cadre was held nationwide by the Nigerian Army.
These are the 58 middle and lower cadre officers in the Nigerian Army, drawn from 81 div alongside 9 paramilitary officers that made the 67-man list participants for the just concluded 5-day training. The 81 div Operations Planning Cadre focused mainly on military operations other than war, MOOTW for short. Participants brainstormed on a wide range of MOOTW, including logistic planning, intelligence gathering, mission analysis, and how to place the displaced in war scenario. The Commandant Armed Forces Resettlement Center, here Vice Marshal Sadiq Liman, and the host, General Officer Commanding 81 Div Major General Musa Yusuf, rated the training very high in terms of fulfilling interagencies collaborations.
Convinced that these topics were carefully selected for cadre in fulfillment of the Army headquarters and division training directives.
And it is also in keeping with the vision of the Chief of Army Staff of having a professionally responsive Nigerian Army in the discharge of our constitutional roles.
Participants described the training as beneficial.
It's going to give us a better advantage in having logistics about, all our equipments.
Similar training is expected to come up in the second quarter of the year. The just concluded training is one of a kind in the Nigerian Army annual training forecast to improve professional efficiency and combat readiness in peace and war times. In Lagos, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
The second edition of the Eco-Journalism Initiative, aimed at training young aspiring environmental journalists on the rudiments and science of environmental journalism, has held in Lagos. The training, which is the second edition, was organized at a nature park. The report.
Diverse pollution, global warming, desertification, flooding, and other environmental challenges have health, social, and economic impacts with grave consequences. Environmental journalists are required to explicitly bring to the fore these issues.
Our environment, which is our life support system, is gravely being threatened by man's activities.
Most times we see journalists report these issues and they take it from a general angle, but narrowing it down and being specific about the environmental implication, the need for change, not always in the report.
This eco-journalism workshop and training provided a platform for young aspiring environmental journalists to learn the rudiments, science and skills involved in environmental journalism.
Just wanted more people to be like Jennifer Igwe of NTA, Michael Simire, like myself, to report environmental issues in Nigeria and across Africa.
It's not easy to pick from books what you hear from already experienced colleagues.
Participants who were selected based on their entries speak on impact of the training.
I've gone for other workshops, even the one organized by Anas, the Ghanaian journalist, where you had BBC reporters and all that, but I still gain a lot from this.
But beyond the science, there's a way you need to be able to portray it coming from the human angles.
The Eco-Journalism Initiative in Lagos, second in the series, was for aspiring environment journalists from the Southwest. In Lagos, Amaka O, NT News.
In commemoration of the World Health Day 2019, with the theme Universal Health Coverage for Everyone, Everywhere, residents of Maiden Orile community in Mile 12 area of Lagos State were beneficiaries of the free medical service. Awal Yusuf Jibo, who visited the community, filed this report.
In furtherance of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3, which focuses on health and well-being, the exercise is to create enlightenment and provide free medical checks and medication where necessary to residents of Maiden Orile community in Lagos.
We're trying to complement what the government is doing. We're also trying to point attention to communities like this to try to see how more well-meaning Nigerians can come here. Health is wealth.
The free medical outreach involved blood sugar test, HIV screening and counseling, eye and dental care.
We're having the lab sections, we are having the consultation, we also have the physiotherapists to take charge, and many other things are being done here today.
For instance, my height is LD, and most of everything I check is LD.
The medical outreach say the community of Maiden Orile was chosen due to lack of basic healthcare facilities.
We noticed that they have a whole lot of challenges around here: malnutrition, malaria. They have high-prone malaria cases here. Then we noticed that they actually lack family planning.
While this place is developing, we are expecting a lot of things in terms of a health center and some other good things.
About 100 residents of Maiden Orile community benefited from the free medical outreach. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this break.
Marketing of broadcast media products requires special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College Jos is therefore organizing an intensive 3-week course on modern trends in broadcast media marketing. The course will equip participants with necessary skills to deal with contemporary marketing challenges and competition in the broadcast media. It is an essential course for marketers in the broadcast media to sharpen their skills and improve their capacities. Date, 23rd April to 10th May 2019. Venue, NTA Television College, Refuge, Jos. Course fee, 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please contact us on 0803 314 4383 or 0806 980 9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thank you for staying tuned and welcome back to Abuja. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on political and religious leaders to avoid making inciting statements that can lead to destructive actions. This was when he joined other world leaders and dignitaries at the ceremony marking the 25th national commemoration of genocide against Tutsi in Kigali, Rwanda. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The story of the genocide that took place in Rwanda in April 1994 has been told in various forms. This theatrical performance at the National Commemoration Ceremony at the Kigali Conference Center delves into the country's cultural tradition of Umurunzi tree planting, where loved ones are lost, which is a symbol of keeping memories alive.
To remind the world that nothing under the sun is more sacred than the life of a single human being.
Can you please help me sing for Grandma?
This history will not repeat. That is our firm commitment.
Not only the government and people of Rwanda are making this commitment of keeping the peace, countries around the world are also committing to this, with some still bearing the burden of allowing the 1994 genocide to ever take place.
Just as in Africa and elsewhere, time can never erase the darkest hours in our history.
In moments like this, we are called upon to reflect on our collective consciousness and individual commitments to nurture peace and understanding.
The wounds for Rwanda are very deep indeed, and they're still healing. At 25 years on, you can still feel the pain. You can still hear in their speeches, in their voices, in their experiences, that this is still a very deep wound. I pray that we would never experience such a thing and experience such a thing anywhere again in Africa. But it depends again on leadership.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo also attended the wreath-laying ceremony with many other dignitaries, amongst them former President Olusegun Obasanjo, paying similar honor at the Kigali Genocide Memorial. Now, the government of Rwanda may have provided the balm that healed the wounds from the genocide, but the scars still remain. And this is to remind the people of the need to remain in peace. From Kigali, Rwanda, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And our correspondent, Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, was in Rwanda recently with Nigerian delegates from northeastern part of Nigeria, and he takes a look at the lessons Nigeria can learn from the Rwandan crisis.
It was in the early hours of April 7, 1994, that the ethnic tensions ruptured into genocide. The incident led to the loss of lives of about 1 million people in a country of estimated 9 million people in about 100 days. Men and children killed, women raped, and some were burnt to death. Worship places were not safe. Nigerian delegates, mostly from the northeast states of Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe, were taken through the 28 stages of the memorial.
Both of them were the key in this hatred propaganda.
Hatred, nepotism, sectionalism, and discrimination were some of the factors that led to the genocide as listed by the tour guide. As a sign of respect, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyoita, supported by the delegates, laid a wreath and observed a minute's silence. This Kigali Memorial was built in 1999 and was officially opened in 2004. Here, there are 250,000 people buried, a place for remembrance and learning.
Since the inception of the government of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 to date, we in the Northeast have very much appreciated the efforts he has shown to bring down the insurgency of Boko Haram. We have regained our territory and our people are now going back to their ancestral homes. Not only that, President Muhammadu Buhari ensured that nobody suffered. All our IDPs were catered for, they were fed, accommodated and taken care of. I'm calling on all Nigerians, particularly those in the Northeast, to ensure that we reconcile ourselves, we forgive ourselves. Let us imbibe the Rwandan experience.
One of the take-homes for the delegates here, they say, is that when you chain yourself to the past, you deny yourself the future. The 1994 genocide will always mar Rwanda's history, but this country of 1,000 hills have moved forward since those dark days. But the good news, however, is that both politically and economically, it's been growing fast and it's been predicted to keep booming. In Kigali, Rwanda, Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And to health matters now, achieving universal health care by 2030 is a sure way to go for Nigeria. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, gave the assurance while briefing the media in Abuja and observed that the federal government has embarked on revitalizing primary health care across the country to ensure at least one functional facility in every ward offers health care services to Nigerians at no financial cost. Basi Taikbang reports.
The theme for the 2019 World Health Day, Universal Health Coverage, Everyone Everywhere, is aimed at ensuring that everybody has access to medical care with financial protection. Thus, the Minister of Health says is a collective call of action to move from political will to political action in providing universal health care for Nigerians.
Is in alignment with President Buhari's resolve to provide qualitative health care to all Nigerians. As part of our stewardship role, we have proactively pursued the implementation of other innovative strategies that will contribute to strengthening our health systems, as well as positioning towards accelerating the attainment of universal coverage.
As in WHO, we are really truly happy to be associated with the notable efforts that the Federal Minister of Health, through your leadership, Honorable Minister, and the states are making, and remains committed to continue working with Nigeria towards the attainment of universal coverage.
Strategies put in place by the present government to ensure Nigeria achieve universal health coverage, the minister says, include the implementation of the basic health care provision by appropriating 1% of the consolidated revenue of the Federation in fulfillment of Section 11 of National Health Act. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
In talking agriculture, the federal government is to develop a new policy that will straighten agricultural extension services towards boosting food production and processing in the country. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Audu Ogbe says a one-stop shop will also be established in all local government areas in the country. Musa Baba Aliu has the details.
Effective and efficient agricultural extension services provided the adequate support needed by farmers years back when agriculture was the major contributor to the nation's economy. In those years, financial and moral support were given to extension workers to reach out to farmers in rural areas to teach them modern farming techniques. The initiative was, however, abandoned as the World Bank withdrew its support to the program. Today, Nigeria has been rated as the lowest in terms of utilization of extension services in agricultural activities.
Current statistics in Nigeria is over 3,000 to 4,000. In some instances, 5,000, one extension worker to 5,000 farmers. How can they cope? and in reality don't even have logistics support. Before they used to have vehicles, they used to have logistics themselves for motorcycles, they used to have allowances, they used to have all kinds of encouragement to keep them going. Now they are redundant and lie fallow in ADPs that are moribund.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Adu Ogbe, identified that Nigeria is lagging behind in extension, but says efforts are geared towards providing effective extension services to farmers in the country. The minister, who was represented at the annual Agricultural Extension Society of Nigeria, appealed to the members of the association to play a significant role in the draft of the proposed extension policy.
This is the only guarantee to improving national food and nutrition security. It is also the only way to ensuring the development of high-quality agricultural products that can compete effectively in the global market.
The Agri-Extension Society is worried over the neglect of extension services in Nigeria, despite the fact that agriculture remains the priority of the present administration. The seminar is expected to come out with suggestions on how Nigeria will improve its extension program under the Economic Diversification Program. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And Jos Network Center is next on Nationwide, and Sani is our guide. Hello, Sani.
Welcome to Jos. President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration has set aside over 55 billion naira for the basic healthcare fund towards enhancing healthcare delivery in the country. It was in a message to the inauguration of the Senior Executive Course 41 participants at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS Kuru. Abdulwahab Babankanti reports.
The greatest asset of any nation is the well-being of its citizens. This is why the federal government is exploring ways to better healthcare delivery in Nigeria. To support this drive for an effective healthcare sector, participants of Course 41 are focused on ways to provide feasible solutions towards revitalizing the healthcare delivery. President Muhammadu Buhari represented said an effective and efficient health sector result in high life expectancy and a productive workforce, which are important in building a vibrant national economy.
It has in all critical situations provided needed policy recommendations and implementation strategies to government on issues of national importance too numerous to mention.
The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, said government is committed in moving the country closer to its goals of achieving universal healthcare coverage in a legitimate way.
And what is critical in that definition is the word access, when it is needed, quality, and financial protection.
Acting Director General NIPS, Jonathan Juma, said the team funding universal healthcare coverage in Nigeria, approved by Mr. President, is both pertinent and timely, as it focuses on issues sustainable funding of Nigeria's healthcare delivery system. Jos Abdullah Babankanti, NTA News.
6 local government areas of Plateau State have benefited from the first phase of the National Social Safety Net program of the federal government. The coordinating officer stated this during a study tour with bureau chiefs, news editors, and directors of news media organizations to some communities in Plateau State. Ben Mitu reports that the National Social Safety Net program is in partnership with the World Bank.
Key mandate of the agency is to harmonize and coordinate government's social safety nets programs, such as the Household Uplifting Program, implementing cash transfers targeted at the poor and vulnerable. After the technical session with members of the 4th Estate of the REM, the team went to Turu and Turu Law, all in the South local government area, where stakeholders were sensitized.
The federal government, working with the state governments, is building a social register that will give access to poor and vulnerable families to access social interventions.
These media executives said they are convinced by the efforts of the federal government at tackling poverty.
The first time we're having anything like this in Nigeria, and we have asked a series of questions. How is it going to be sustained?
anytime that this government is no more. And we've been given assurance that the World Bank is involved.
A project that can actually help Nigerians, very poor Nigerians, to get out of poverty.
The team was also at the NTA Television College Jos to solicit for support in training of journalists on reporting social intervention programs, where the rector of the college accepted the request with gratitude. In Jos, Ben Mitu, NTA News.
The head of Mission U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, David Young, has reiterated the need for Nigerians to hold firm to their faith in God in the face of daunting challenges. He stated this at an interdenominational fellowship meeting at the Assemblies of God Church in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Cameron Canning Ladoja reports.
The meeting drew church leaders from different denominations to lead in the special prayers for reconciliation and forgiveness, the security situation in the country, as well as sincerity in the hearts of political leaders and Nigerians. Guest speaker and Charge d'Affaires, U.S. Embassy, David Young, who dwelt on the topic, God is in control, reminded Christians that bad things happen to everyone, but through it all, God is in charge. Young added that his visits to Jos have taught him that faith calls for reconciliation and striving towards unity, as every human is created by God.
In God's world, and God gives us comfort no matter what happens. God can make good come out of tragedy, and God can help us as we walk with God through the difficult paths of life.
The commander of Operation Safe Haven, Kan Plateau State Chairman and Kan Chairman Northern Nigeria were unanimous in their views that God has been faithful and will intervene in Nigeria and Plateau State.
God bless our politicians from all parts, all parts. They really do well. Choose the path of God. Hate will be too much a battle for you.
There were songs of worship and exaltation. In Jos, Ekemarin Kadeng Ladoja, NTA News.
That's our package from Jos. Back to you, Oga, in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Sani. Nigeria is seeking closer partnership with the Brazilian government in tackling insecurity, especially against Boko Haram terrorism and piracy along the Gulf of Guinea. Naja'atu Tijani reports that the partnership hints at possibly establishing a military-industrial complex in Nigeria.
Nigeria and Brazil, which have long established trade and cultural relations, are taking further steps to overcome violent extremism and sea piracy, which affect petroleum export from Nigeria to Brazil. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mansur Ali's visit to his Brazilian counterpart, Mr. Fernando Azevedo e Silva, comes just as maritime piracy and kidnapping incidents persist in the Gulf of Guinea. The country is therefore on a quest to tap into Brazil's expertise in the area, especially regarding sophisticated technology and special cargo craft to circumvent sea pirates. Other interventions expected from the Brazilian government include establishing a military-industrial complex in partnership with the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria. Both countries are also exploring the possibility of giving Nigerian officers special military training in Brazil. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
The federal government is to work closely with the African Development Bank to develop its strategy in line with the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan of Nigeria to effectively utilize the enormous resources for development. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, made this known when he received the bank's technical mission in Nigeria, Country Strategy Paper 2020 to 2024. Justin Bem-Uyi reports.
The visit is part of the bank's consultation in Nigeria in the process of preparing for its new strategy paper, a document that will guide the intervention of the African Development Group in Nigeria from 2020 to 2024. The Minister of Science and Technology described the level of hunger, disease and poverty in most African states as disturbing and says it is high time the continent resolves to convert its enormous resources for development. The Economic and Recovery Growth Plan in Nigeria Now, he noted, recognizes that science, technology and innovation is at the center of all economic activities.
And the question is, why can't Africans use the same resources that other people from other continents come to Africa to get and use that to develop Africa? So that is what this administration in Nigeria is focusing on. And this ministry, Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, is working very hard to give leadership.
We'll be looking at the ERGP and eventually the successor plan and identify areas that are also aligned with our own priority objectives. And then we'll be selecting those focus areas where we will focus on during the period 2020 to 2024. So these are priority objectives that the government itself has already selected. We'll just be helping the government to implement those objectives.
The technical mission is to look at the achievements made on the strategy before now and improve on implementation of necessary areas ahead. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
While commending President Muhammadu Buhari on the successful implementation of the micro-pension plan, guests on Good Morning Nigeria say the National Pensions Commission, PENCOM, should improve on the flaws of the plan to encourage the public to participate in it. Alika Okpanachi Arua has the report.
With the launch of the micro-pension plan by the federal government, those in the informal sector of the economy, which comprise of the private sector, the self-employed with irregular income, like the traders and artisans with no access to the existing contributory pension plan, may now be able to save for their retirement.
Macro pension does not have accrued benefit rendered to it. Those working in the private sector, they also don't have any accrued benefit, so they don't experience any delays.
The law provides that every 5 years the scheme should be revised.
I was going to raise it. I like that.
This is the 15th year. This is supposed to be the third review this year. We have not seen anyone.
The guests on Good Morning Nigeria described it as a good initiative, as it will provide income to those not employed by the federal government at old age and inculcate a saving culture through a highly protected and regulated investment. This, they said, will afford citizens the opportunity to connect to other programs of government while helping to finance infrastructure development across the country.
There is a need for government to look beyond PENCOM, for government to look at this micro pension, to converting it to a kind of a social security scheme, to be able to incentivize the nearly 70 million people to see if we can get near complete compliance.
I just want to please appeal to the PENCOM to ensure aggressive enlightenment and sensitization awareness across the country.
They, however, advise the government to address some of the flaws in the current contributory pension scheme, which may affect the micro-pension plan. The guests call for initiatives to encourage the 70% of Nigerians working in the informal sector to participate in the micro-pension plan. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi Arua, NTA News.
Bright in our Enugu Network Center has the next set of reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Vivian, and welcome to Enugu Network Center. A federal high court sitting in Enugu has dismissed a suit filed by Senator Gilbert Nnaji representing Enugu East Senatorial Zone, seeking to be declared the authentic candidate of the People's Party at the party primary elections last year. Chinyere Okoye reports that the suit was dismissed for having been filed out of time.
Senator Gilbert Nnaji had in October last year filed a suit before a federal high court in Abuja asking that his name be submitted to INEC as the validly elected candidate for the senatorial zone of PDP. He prayed the court to disqualify Dr. Chimaroke Nnamani, who won at the primaries, for not being physically present during the screening and the primaries. He also told the court in his suit that he came second in the primary election of a party and therefore the rightful candidate. The case was later transferred to Enugu in March this year on the order of the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Abuja. The defense counsel, C.B. Anyibu, had argued that the course of action should have commenced after the PDP screening, which the plaintiff, Gilbert Nnaji, said Chimaroke Nnamani did not attend. In his judgment, Justice Mohammed Buba held that having failed to institute the action within the stipulated period as provided by the law, the matter was dead. He, however, agreed that the issue of jurisdiction was clearly raised by the defendant, but held that the suit was statute barred and was dismissed. Justice Buba said the plaintiff, Gilbert Nnaji, chose to file his case in Abuja, which was a wrong step, noting that the court would not, on the process of speeding up the case, sacrifice justice. The court added that the plaintiff, who could not prove his case as lacking in merit and speculative, counsel to the plaintiff, Onyinye Mbanefo, said the judgment will be studied carefully to identify flaws in their suit, while counsel to the defendant, C.B. Anyibu, thanked the court for the judgment, which he described as sound and clear. In Enugu, Chinyere Okoye, NTA News.
Senator Ayogu Eze, who contested and the just concluded governorship election in Enugu State on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has stated his willingness to promote development in Enugu State. Senator Eze stated this when a delegation of stakeholders from his zone, Enugu North Senatorial District, visited him at his Enugu residence. Susan Eze reports.
The delegation, led by Senator Chukwuka Otazi, told Senator Ayogu Eze that the visit is in quest of the cherished spirit of oneness and comradeship in Enugu State, irrespective of party affiliation. Stressing the need for Enugu people to rally round the governor-elect, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, to advance the cause of development. Senator Otazi noted that the contribution of a prominent son of the state like Ayogu Eze and others who ran elections are needed to move the state forward.
On behalf of our people, that we want to unite together as a family behind our brother, Right Honorable Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, the governor of Enugu State and the governor-elect.
Noting that he was humbled by the visit of his kinsmen, Senator Ayogu Eze that the bond of brotherhood cannot be broken by politics.
So I want to assure you, sir, that we will do all within our power to promote development within our place and within our state. We will not be a destabilizing factor in Enugu State. But I just need to let you know that I won't constitute a cog in the wheel of the progress of our people.
Senator Eze promised the group that he will make some consultations and give a feedback on the direction he would want to go. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
Some state executive members of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the Southeast Zone have described the performance of the member representing Isikwato and Umunochi Federal Constituency at the National Assembly in Kiru, Onyeji-Ocha as effective. The spokesman of the group stated this at a press briefing in Anambra State. Okechukwu Agubama reports.
The group's spokesman, Okolie Mmaduife, noted that the constituency has never had such quality representation, which, according to the spokesman, has impacted the lives of the people of the constituency in particular and in the Southeast in general. Mr. Mmaduife stated that it has become imperative for Nigerians to support such selfless leaders who will take Nigeria to the next level. The executive member stated that the future of the country is bright if such selfless leaders are entrusted with leadership positions, and therefore stressed the need for the legislators to elect Onyeji-Ocha as the next Speaker of the House of Representatives.
It is our considered view, and it's our position, that we are supporting Honorable Barrister Mrs. Nkiruka Onyejocha, who is representing Umunochi Federal Constituency.
Executive members were drawn from Enugu, Ebonyi, Abia, and Anambra states. In Enugu, Okechukwu Agobama, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu. The news continues in Abuja after this timeout.
Thank you, Bright. We're back in Abuja. And now sports update with Olumide Eguntola.
Included all-comers athletics meet in Ijebu-Ode, which is designed to help athletes gauge their level of preparedness ahead of the AFN Golden League, as well as help identify new talent, has been described as a successful one, as a total of 130 athletes and 30 officials were selected to represent the country at the forthcoming Athletics Championship later this year in the North African country. The second edition of National Para-Canoe and Rowing Competition has ended in Lagos with assurance from stakeholders that Team Nigeria will put up an impressive performance at the forthcoming Continental and Paralympics Games.
They have this raw talent, and we just need to teach them little more techniques, and we are good to go.
In basketball, efforts are on by our stakeholder to develop the game at the grassroots level, targeting youth at their tender age and nurture them to stardom regardless of their background.
We also give the opportunity to public school children, and these children don't have money. If they don't have, how are we going to do it? So stop going to the mini basket in Piazza in Italy? No.
In a related development, our tennis star Tolu Adeleye is set to pay back to the society through its developmental program for Nigerian youth.
To teach kids what we call the 3 C's: a curiosity for the world, a concern for the world, and a confidence to effect change in the world.
And in rugby, the Nigerian Rugby Football Federation rose from its annual general meeting held in Lagos with a resolution to fortify the national team through a well-organized league. The meeting also agreed on improved welfare package for its players and took decisive steps towards actualizing their various programs, especially the Africa Silver Cup to be hosted by Nigeria.
We have enormous opportunities at senior level where we are invited to participate in the Olympic qualifications.
The meeting concluded that state unions should be set up and elections monitored by the national body. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And it's a wrap on Nationwide. Thank you for your time. I am Ogwa Vivian Onyedibia.